What's up, Buttercup? Today we're breaking new grounds here on the channel as we're diving into a very specific crevice of Transformers toy collecting. We're taking a look at the delightfully delicious bite-sized buddies that are third-party Legend scale toys. More specifically, this one. Scaramangas?
Stop posting about Among Us! I'm tired of seeing it!
Scaramanga. Okay. So breaking into the niche market that gave popularity to other third-party rockers like Magic, Square, and Iron Factory comes this tiny troubledoer from NewAge. So turn up your speakers for NewAge Scaramanga. Now this is their version of Decepticon Communications Officer / Certified Babe Magnet Soundwave. Keen-eyed viewers may notice this is the variant based on the original 80s toy with the yellow visor and the various extra detailing. However, since this is NewAge and they are prone to making every single version of a mold they possibly can, you can probably find one for whatever flavor of Soundwave you're hungry for. Options are always good. And to put it lightly, this robot mode looks unrelentingly awesome. Not to give away the game immediately, but yeah, look at it. I suppose it's only classy to start with his rectangular chest, which, as with all good Soundwaves, can open up to store his cassette friends. Unfortunately, you can't do that on the shoulder button, so straight into the trash he goes. Moving on, the sculpting and painting is admirably attractive with the silver thighs and forearms, along with the charming little beep boop bop toy accurate buttons on his knees, and focusing solely on the body mold, this could not be more Soundwave. It's a lovely combination of his cartoon proportions and toy characteristics. He's even got some faux cassette recorder parts behind his legs. Talk about commitment. The only thing that smells a bit sus is his back buttons here. It's not the fact that his waist buttons aren't the ones seen in his alt mode, that doesn't bother me. It's just knowing that it's there, you know? But if I may proceed, that head sculpt is money. Adore the silver going all around the sides and his gleaming shiny visor. And the articulation is action-packed. Sure, his thigh cuts are a bit loose for my liking, but it's hard to stay mad when everything else is so thorough. He's got a crazy elbow bend, ankle pivot on his feet, which I assume are metal, and he's even got an ab crunch? Hells yeah! Segueing to the accessories, Soundwave sporting a familiar gun and his suspiciously similar shoulder cannon. They're greatly detailed and the paint is picked out precisely and perfectly. He also comes with alternate hands, which I definitely appreciate. However, I'm terrified of losing them in the carpet forever. So, just know that they exist. Or don't. And moving on, Scaramanga comes with these 3 little cassette buddies to pal around in his chest when they're not causing mayhem. Now, I already said the main figure was tiny, but these little rascals are microscopic. First, there's Laserbeak, which looks extraordinarily spot on for such a small-scale sucker. Plus, it can stay onto Scaramanga's arms via magnets. Next, there's Ravage, who's equally great. This might seriously be the best version of this character that I own. It's fun to pose around and he'll have you feline fine. And lastly, we got Rumble here. Can you hear the rumble? Or I guess since this is based on the G1 toy version, this is probably Frenzy then? Okay, sure. Frenzy looks superb for the size. Articulation's great too, however the thinness of his legs makes him a bit hard to stand, which means he's always the one stored in Soundwave's chest. He's also got his notable pile drivers, which I'm happy they thought to include, but they sort of make him a bit more prone to falling. Their transformations are really unique as well. There's a lot to be surprised by with the fun factor in these. Enjoyment to be found in every square millimeter. Wrapping up the robot mode, yeah, it's perfect. I know you've heard me gush about this character design at least twice before, but this specific version gives it all so elegantly and lovingly. Superior indeed. The transformation works super good. It's very leg-centric, and you can tell a ton of thought went into how to get the animation-accurate calves into these stunning rectangular shapes. Unpinching the crotchular region is a bit of a fright though, but other than that it manages to be impressive, fun, and easy to understand, but advanced enough to feel like you did something. It really thinks outside the box. And in alt mode, it's definitely a scrumptious square. I get that Soundwave may not have the most exciting alt mode, but I mean, this is what you won. You bought your ticket, and this is the ride. The detailing looks just as nice in this form too, with the G1 toys red and black side things and even some light reading material. Micro cassette recorder, you got that right. Everything holds in place as it should, and the plastic quality feels real nice. I can't say I'm in love with the very bottom center though. It just comes across a bit too inelegantly, and it's the only part of the alt mode it feels a little seam heavy. But what you gonna do? There's no way that one imperfection can come close to compromising the entire thing. The only other thing worth mentioning that I'm not crazy for is how it isn't perfectly flat on the bottom. Now, at least this is intentional for the weapon storage, and it stands the cassette recorder mode up alright, but in order to store the battery cannons, you have to remove the silver end of the blaster here, with nowhere else to put it, and I really don't want it to get lost. Despite that though, I can't argue with the final result. The sculpting of the various technical lines and ridges shines throughout, as does this combination of blue and silver. I mean, come on, looking at this, you know immediately who this is supposed to be. This is Soundwave on every conceivable level except official. You can nitpick a thing or two about it, but this is a really superb little piece. I get this is said about NewAge's stuff a lot, but this really looks like a mini masterpiece. There is, however, one other thing about this toy that's worth addressing, and that's the price. Now, I bought this toy used, so I didn't have to pay the full asking price, but this thing goes from 70 to 80 bucks? Which, funny how Transformers fans will whine about Earthrise Cliffjumper being too small to justify being $20, but they'll happily spend more than that on a toy that's even smaller. But look, I'll straight up acknowledge right now that despite being roughly the same height as Core Class Soundwave, this is by no means the same thing. The articulation's better, there's pretty much no visible gaps in robot mode, there's way more attention to paint, it's got a higher parts count and a more complex transformation, it comes with 3 cassette dudes who are all well articulated, it's got metal feet, I think you get it, it's going for something way different. This is, by every measure, a very premium, high-end figure that really is the whole shebang. Now, the price is kind of enough to keep me from getting a whole shelf full of these figures, but make no mistake, I'm definitely getting more of these. I'd get how the price might turn some people off, but they would be missing out quite a bit, because this Soundwave is a complete success, an absolute, irresistible superstar. What's not to love, right? And you know what? Hey, listen, I hope you're doing alright. Catch you later, my jabronis!